Survival games have become extremely popular within the last few years. Whether that be the relatively calm nature in the open world of Minecraft, or the chaotic troll and deathsquito-infested world of Valheim, there are a vast variety of difficulties you can pursue to test your virtual survival skills. Personally, in these games, I tend to gravitate towards being that one guy who does all the building, as I find it somewhat therapeutic, and some games have some really interesting building mechanics to keep things fresh. How games handle the aspect of building, managing health, tools, and weapons really makes it stand out in either the right or wrong ways. Well, today I've got a list of 17 games that I think have some fresh ideas being brought to the table. There'll be some old games, new ones, and some that have yet to release, but hopefully a few will stand out for you, so let's check them out in no particular order. Now, I did say in no particular order, but the first one I want to talk about is one I don't think we're going to be seeing for a while, and that is Light No Fire. Announced about a year or so ago, Light No Fire is the upcoming game from developers Hello Games, who also brought you the biggest turnaround in gaming history with No Man's Sky. Moving from the sci-fi world into the fantasy genre, Light No Fire will have you inhabiting a planet that is supposedly about the size of Earth. The trailer looks fantastic, and the aspects of riding on these massive flying creatures and setting up your home is something that I'm extremely excited for. However, like I said before, it'll probably be a while before we get our hands on it. Even with that said, if the dev team has learned from their past mistakes, this one should be releasing when it's ready, and I don't doubt that it'll be a massive hit. Sticking with another bigger upcoming title, we have Subnautica 2. Harnessing the power of the Unreal Engine, this sequel to the wildly successful first game is looking to give players a more engaging experience by allowing multiplayer, so you can tag with up to 3 of your buddies as you wander the mysterious depths of the ocean. I think the first game did a great job of giving you that uneasy feeling as you explored, never quite knowing if you had just entered the hunting grounds of some large predator. This sequel is looking to bring some new ideas to the already established formula by allowing players to apparently modify their DNA to acquire new abilities. The devs at Unknown Worlds Entertainment confirmed that while they consider it a multiplayer live service game, there will be no season passes, no battle passes, and no subscription, which eases the concerns that some have had with recent gaming trends. While no official release date has been set for Subnautica 2, it is looking to release into early access sometime this year, so keep it on your radar if you don't want to miss out on having some fun with your friends. Land is also of no concern with the next game on this list, and that is Forever Skies. Initially releasing into early access in June of 2023, the devs at Far From Home are looking to release the full 1.0 version in the near future. Forever Skies is something I covered in a previous demo diving video, and it sees you flying above an ecologically ruined Earth. With the main goal of trying to hunt for a cure to save humanity, you must scavenge resources, craft tools, and face dangers, but fret not, as one of the many updates to the game has allowed you to bring up to 3 friends with you on your journey. At first, the game just seemed okay, but it really needed to add some life to the dreary world that was put in front of the player. Since then, the devs have added a ton of content, like the ability to explore the surface of the Earth and encounter hostile life forms, and I feel like this is a game that was relatively overlooked when it initially released. So if this interests you, make sure to check it out and see all that it has to offer. Earth is once again subjected to a disaster event, leaving life difficult for those who inhabit it in the upcoming game Permafrost. In a perpetual winter environment, you must hunt and gather resources for building and crafting components, all while being accompanied by your faithful furry friend. Various NPCs litter the map, giving you a variety of quests to complete, but some areas are not so safe to explore due to enemies or the extreme cold. Permafrost also allows for online co-op, and there are a few bugs in the demo, but nothing that was really game-breaking. It was enjoyable, although the current demo showcases AI voiceover work, which I kinda hope will be replaced when it's set to release sometime this year, but if this interests you, I would recommend giving the demo a shot to get a better idea of what to expect when it does come out. If you enjoy the cold embrace of winter but are looking for a more cozy approach, then maybe you should check out Winter Burrow. In this game, you come back to the burrow in which you grew up in after a series of unfortunate events hit your family when you moved into the big city. The good news is that you can reconnect with your aunt who stayed behind, but the bad news is that the wilderness has become more infested with unfriendly inhabitants. You must gather resources to restore your old home and venture out while managing hunger and warmth. The art is striking, and watching your character bound around and see the little tracks that he leaves is kind of a heartwarming experience. Adding on top of that, the potential of you making new friends really gives it that cozy feeling. However, the wild is unforgiving, and you must be ready to face some strife if you wish to survive. If you're interested in a medieval style game that leans more into Stardew Valley than Valheim, then you need to be checking out Mirthwood. This late release into 2024 sees you embarking on whatever journey you'd like. Is settling the homestead to live a life of farming and trade what you want to do, or are you more interested in a weapon in your hands and adventuring in your heart? Either way, you are free to do what you want in this 2.5D world that also uses a unique progression style seen through card selection. If you want to learn more about Mirthwood, then check out this video I made about the demo and see if it's something you might want to pick up. Now, getting back into games a little bit more like Valheim, we have one of the best games to release last year, and that is Enshrouded. There is so much to say about this game, but it can be summed up with the fact that there are many aspects that I frankly enjoy more than Valheim. While there is some more replayability with procedural generation of Valheim, Enshrouded takes more of an RPG approach and has a much more robust building system. In my opinion, Enshrouded has a much more enjoyable exploration, as there's a lot more to see and do as you're walking around, and it really just beckons to you to wander out and clear out a new town that you can repurpose for your own base setup. Plus, who wouldn't want to jump off of a high place and use a squirrel-like suit to explore? In all honesty, there is a lot that these two games share, but some minor differences will add up, so instead of me listing them all, why not just check out the game and see if it will become your new Valheim? Up next, we have another game that was released last year to critical acclaim, and that is Soulmask. Also set in a non-generated world, this game takes heavy inspiration from Aztec mythology and theming. Do you want to control a slave army that does all the pesky resource gathering for you? How about having cool weapons that each have their own unique attack style? Do you want to have a little tiny rat-like creature maul you like it's some sort of even more deranged honey badger? If yes, then step on up and give this game a shot. There have been a ton of updates for this game, with the most recent being the ability to have a mount, and the PvP aspect is something reminiscent of games like Ark and Rust. The mask upgrading system is a neat way of picking how you want to progress, and even if you play solo, you can use your band of followers to fight alongside you, making raiding the various outposts extremely enjoyable. While still in early access, there's really just been a lot to like about Soulmask, and being able to include community-made items in your playthrough really makes your journey to uncover the truth behind the mask one that you're going to thoroughly enjoy. So let me ask you this, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Well, this next game lets you live through the aftermath of one of Rome's greatest defeats as you're lost in the Teutoburg Forest. You can band together with up to 3 friends and the few survivors of the devastating ambush and navigate the dangerous world you're now surrounded in. There's an NPC management system kind of like Soulmask, so after you get established you can use those followers to gather resources for you or have them join in a fight to re-establish the dominance of Rome. I've been surprised that there actually hasn't been really a Roman-style survival game, or at least one that I've been aware of, and while it may be in the early stages of development, there's a ton to like about what's being shown off. So keep your eye on this and consider signing up for the playtest if this interests you. Staying grounded in history, we come to the next game on this list, and that is Sengoku Dynasty. Taking place in feudal Japan, you set out to build villages and grow your renown in hopes of becoming daimyo. Recently releasing in its 1.0 version, the devs at Super Kami are looking to add even more content like enemy raiding, seasonal changes, procedural quests, and even a karmic system that'll impact your destiny. Trying to influence people to come to your side will take a lot of effort, whether that be through growing your community with farming, hunting, or restoring local shrines. Various quests will also keep you busy during your time playing, making you keep your hands full, so check it out if you want to try becoming the lord of the land. Every list I make will have at least one game on it that's been selected by my Discord server as a must-play in the genre being covered. For a survival crafting open world style game, there was really only one choice, and that is the Planet Crafter. There is so much to love about this game, whether that is being able to build in any way you want, or by witnessing the progress you're making in terraforming the planet as you progress. The DLC showcases a whole new planet for you to explore and even gives you the ability to create vehicles to traverse the landscape with. In all honesty, I actually don't really want to say too much about the game because I feel like a majority of what makes it so engaging is the ability to experience it yourself as you play. But just know that there's a reason why it sits on Steam with a 96% approval rating, so if you haven't picked up this game, do yourself a favor and give it a chance. Sticking to the space theme, we have the upcoming game Star Rupture. Developed by CreepyJar, who also made the game Green Hell, this upcoming first-person base building game will likely take survival to the extreme if past work is anything to go off of. The planet you inhabit is ever-changing and has various resources for you to extract and manage in a similar way to a game like Satisfactory or Factorio, but don't get too ambitious in your buildings as you will have to fight off hordes of alien monsters. I will say that Green Hell has a lot of tedious aspects to the gameplay, so I hope this one's going to take a bit of a more friendly approach for the players, but Star Rupture is looking to be another hit for these indie devs. There are various shades of so many franchises that you can see influencing the work from the devs, and it will definitely be something I want to check out when it releases into early access sometime this year. Rounding out the trifecta of sci-fi games is the early access game Astrometica. Seemingly more like Subnautica, but in a space-style game, Astrometica takes place after a catastrophic event in which you must survive and thrive in the unknown. There's your typical resource gathering and base building, but this adds a cosmic mystery aspect to it all. As it is in the early access, the devs are looking to add more content revolving around environments like asteroid outposts, industrial structures, and unique islands for you to explore. You won't be alone for too long in your adventures, as the devs are also looking to implement drone companions to assist you. The game looks like it's a ton of fun, but don't take my word for it. My friend and fellow YouTuber Marco, also known as the Easily Distracted Gamer, made a video about Astrometica a few months ago giving their thoughts and impressions on their time with the game. So head on over there with a link either up in the top of the video or in the description to get more information to see if this is for you. I don't think I really have to say too much about the next game on this list, as it is V Rising. When V Rising initially released into early access, it felt like everyone was playing it, but back in May of last year it finally hit the 1.0 release, with the additional in-game content keeping you hooked to the satisfying gameplay of being a vampire in a world inhabited by monsters and humans looking to eradicate you. The combat is very fluid, with different weapons and abilities being able to customize the way you want to play, and the feeding system giving you bonuses is really fun to play around with. Each of the seemingly endless number of bosses feel distinct, and the game does a lot to keep you hooked, whether that be through the intricate building system that allows for multi-tiered mansions, creating new vampires to send on raids for resource gathering, or even the PvP mode that sees you having to defend your base or join raids onto enemy bases, with each world resetting after a while to prevent one location from becoming too impenetrable. I personally spent close to 70 hours in the game before it was fully released, so it's going to have to be another game I'm going to jump back into, and one that you should definitely pick up. Survival can be a scary aspect depending on what actually happens, but there's no doubt that in a post-apocalyptic world, one of the more realistic aspects would be the dismantling of society and rise of factionalism. The upcoming game, As One We Survive, looks to showcase a father's struggle to help his sick daughter during a post-pandemic event as he fights, scavenges, gathers resources, and crafts in order to ensure his family's survival. Having to fend off the wildlife while also dealing with potential bandits or raiders is done fairly beautifully in the voxel art style that accompanies the game. As a game that I backed on Kickstarter a long time ago, it's been a bit of a slow development, but the results are promising as they add more content. I can't really say that the early access is going to happen this year, as the devs are looking to make it as bug-free as possible, but the constant communication goes a long way to reassure those who have believed in the project. So if this is something that interests you, keep your eye on the potential release hopefully sometime this year. If the last game interested you, then you're probably going to be interested in this one. State of Decay 3 is the upcoming newest installment to the critically acclaimed series in which you build a community of survivors in a zombie apocalypse. Having to manage your community by raiding nearby outposts is a satisfying gameplay loop, and the permadeath aspect and individual personalities in your community add that additional layer of tension that makes so many moments memorable. With even more special infected inhabiting the world and a graphical overhaul, State of Decay 3 is looking to bring out the most of what made the previous game so successfully. Now obviously I could have suggested the previous games in the series, especially since there's no official release date on the horizon, but State of Decay 3 is something I'm personally stoked for, and I think it needs to be on everyone's radars. The last entry on this list is a game that I actually never thought I would play, and that is Sons of the Forest. It isn't because I didn't think that this was going to be good, but because I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to horror stuff. Despite that, Sons of the Forest won me over through the engaging story it tells alongside a robust building system that takes a while to get used to, but once you do, you're going to be given the keys to build however you see fit. In this game, you are sent to find a missing billionaire on a remote island that's inhabited by cannibals and unheard of abominations. And honestly, if you ask me, you could just leave them there. But like many games on this list, I think the game benefits greatly from bringing your friends with you, as the unsettling nature of the game is something that I feel like merits giving it a chance. And that was my list of 17 games that are like Valheim. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Hopefully there will be some games that piqued your interest, but if I missed any, feel free to leave some in the comments below. But that'll be it for this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, be kind to one another. Shoutouts go to Relativity, Naughty Dog is King, Chaos, and Kamikolo, alongside all those subbed to the channel. I hope you enjoy these sorts of lists, and if you have a genre you want me to cover, then leave a comment below and join the Discord to help influence what makes it to the list. But either way, I will see you soon.